Hello, my name is LanSirr, and welcome back to Dawncraft Echoes of Legends. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about enchanting, the best enchantment table setup, the easiest one to get to. You can kind of see the three behind me, and we'll kind of just go in a complete guide, kind of explain a little bit more. So with enchanting, of course, you have your quest book. I would suggest starting in here, kind of give you an idea of where to go with this. So there's kind of two ways to go early game. I suggest do not create the normal way to enchant, which is just a normal bookshelf. So I think you're going to waste your time. Unless you just need something quick and you want to try it, that's fine. But I would suggest jumping straight to the sea shelf. And so as you can see behind me, I have the three best setups for the sea shelf and the three different levels. So let's look at the sea shelf. I'll show you how to kind of make it the easiest way. So the first one you're going to want to make is just called sea shelf. Click it, pufferfish, water, prismarine bricks. So the easiest way to do this is in the world when you start exploring, you're going to come across these little kind of nodule things. I don't know what to exactly call them, but they're like prismarine areas. So I'm going to teleport here. So this is where you're going to want to start kind of your journey to the sea shelf. As you can see, there's prismarine brick everywhere. There's even prismarine shards when you break this. So if I go into survival mode here, which I don't know if I break this, you can even get your prismarine crystals, and everything that you need is going to be here for the sea shelf. So even if we go to the infused, we'll talk about that another time, but when we get to the crystalline, you'll see you'll need prismarine crystals, which again we just got from just breaking these sea lanterns here. So that'll be big. Find these. There's a bunch of them across the map. As you can see, I've kind of explored a little bit here. There's 3 just in this area alone. So again, that'll get you started with the items that you'll need. So after you craft, you know, as many of these as you can get. Oh, the pufferfish. So pufferfish only appear in warm ocean water. And so what you're going to want to look for is, if you go to the map, you're going to start to see like little bits of like coral. Sometimes if you go over the top of them, it'll show it. I'm not sure if that's the area. There was you got to find the warm ocean, and you're going to find these coral reefs, and that's where the pufferfish spawn. So you need to find the warm ocean in order to find pufferfish. So this is what the coral is going to look like. It'll be kind of colored like this, purples, yellows. You'll see all the different kind of coral here, and this is where the pufferfish will spawn. They are very small. So we'll kind of go in the water, try to find one. That one, yes, there's a pufferfish right there. So as you can see how tiny that is, they spawn in like 2s, maybe 3 sometimes. When you get close to them, when you're normal, they will puff up and hurt you. That's where you need like a ranged weapon. And then whenever you defeat it, you'll actually get 1 pufferfish. They always float to the top. And so you're going to need to collect quite a few of these, so you can do the math with however many ones you need. That's what you'll do. You'll just keep going around, and again, like I said, if you defeat more fish, it'll spawn. The spawn will open up for more pufferfish to spawn. So keep doing that. Get as many of those as you can. Once you got your pufferfish, of course, you're gonna want to make this setup with the sea shelves. Now, skeleton skulls you're gonna need to find, but there's other ones. So if I come here, it's called Quanta. We can look up Quanta. I'll explain kind of all this in more in depth, but these are the things that spawn. Quanta is skeleton. If you can find a wither, it's even better. Zombie head, creeper head. Sometimes they're just in dungeons. You adventure out, you'll find a few. But this is level 1 setup. This is like the best setup, and all of these will kind of go in with each other. So you're gonna want this first one set up just like this in the way that I've done it, because, and we'll kind of explain everything about enchanting. So as you can see at the top, it's called Eterna. We can come here, give you kind of an idea. So Eterna is just the available enchantments of the level. So each kind of category we go to has different Eterna. So sea shelves, as you can see in the top middle, max is 22.5. If we go to the next upgraded version, max is 27. And then the final upgraded version of these is 30. It goes up all the way to 50, which is the Draconic, I think. The end goes to 40. And then there's the Draconic shelf, and then that is the only one in the game that goes to 50. So you need, as you can see, these are plus 1.5 Eterna. all of these go around, you're going to want to max out the 22.5. So if I break this one right here, as you can see, the 22.5 is still there because these give Arcana. So if you break enough of these, your Eterna will actually drop below 22.5, and that is something you do not want to have happen, because that is going to dictate your levels that you can like reach within. So as you can see, it's at 21. But the thing with the sea shelf is that as you can see at the top, you get Eterna and Arcana. So, or Arcana, I'm not sure how to say it. I think it's Arcana, but whatever way to say it. Arcana is, it makes enchantments more available with the enchantment, so it'll make more of them appear. So we'll put all these back just to reach the max level that we can with this setup. The other way to do it is candles. If you want to kind of try to, you know, make your own kind of setup, candles give you Arcana. You don't get much Arcana from anything. It's 1.25. This is 1.5. It's much better. So we'll go in here. So what does that mean? So if I put the Triton in here, as you can see on the left here, you have your relative weights. Common 5, uncommon 5, rare 4, very rare 2. The higher you get Arcana, the higher the very rare side will go up. So, which I'll show you. So as you can see, put the Triton back in. So we have 5, 5, 4, 2. We'll go to the best setup for early game, and we'll throw the Triton in here. And now it's 3, 4, 5, 5. So as you can see, the lower end ones took away, and it put more in higher end. So that is the reason you want higher Arcana, is just more ability to get enchantments. Now the next one is Quanta. So Quanta modulates the power. So this is like the higher level enchantment. So let's say Sweeping Edge 1. The Quanta will help you get Sweeping Edge, 5 or 6, whatever. So you want high Quanta, but what comes with Quanta is curses. So let's just use this Trident with the setup we have. Impaling 6. We'll click it. Sharpness, like this is pretty good. Channeling, summoning lightning bolts during storms, unbreaking. Which so let's spawn a few Tridents in and see if we can get a curse to appear. 3, 4, 5 of these. So we'll try to use these Tridents here, see if we can get a curse to appear, and that will kind of show you an idea of Quanta going in the wrong way. So if Quanta goes bad, it'll add a curse to the items. Most of the time, it's just life mending. If I can't get one to spawn, I'll just show you. So I didn't get one to spawn there. We'll just type in curse here. So these are all the curses that can appear on items. And so the higher the Quanta, it can go good, but also it can create negative effects. And so you can use something called rectification to lower that, which again, in the third setup, we'll talk about a little bit more. But this is the best early game setup. It's very easy to get, in my opinion. The pufferfish will take the longest, but it's an easy setup. You're going to want these skeletons just to enhance the Quanta, because the sea shelf itself doesn't have Quanta. As you can see, when you get to the third one, the crystalline sea shelf has Quanta at the top middle built in to the shelf, so it auto adds it in. So I do make this first setup. The second setup is fairly easy. You're just going to need a lot of levels. I have a XP farm on my channel. Go check it out. It will help you get levels. The only way to get to the infuse, as you can see, it adds 0.25 to both Eterna and Arcana, so it's not much of an upgrade, but all of these three go step to step. So all you're going to do is take one of your seashells from the first one, you'll break it, you're going to have to actually enchant it. And so let's get some revenue lapis. We'll get some lapis here, and I'll show you exactly what you have to do. So you have to enchant the shelf itself. So when you enchant it, it'll be level 3. It has to say infusion. You have to have a certain level to get to it. If it doesn't say infusion, then your setup isn't a high enough level. It'll actually tell you exactly what you need if it's not a high enough level by going and just hovering over it, I'm pretty sure. But when you get infusion, we'll get the thing here. That is how you get these infused sea shelves. So as you can see, the name at the top there, infused. Every single one of these is that. As you can see what level it costs level 54 with this one. But I think the lowest is, I don't really remember. There is a lower level. I forgot how you check. Oh, here it is, 45. So you need to be at least 45 with, and it will show you the exact Eterna setup here. 22.5 is the minimum, minimum 15 Quanta, and minimum 10 Arcana. So if you come here, with this setup, you can see at the top, we way surpassed that. So you need at least that setup. You can come back to your first one here. You're going to put your seashell self in there. You'll infuse it, and then you're going to get those all. And so you'll do this with the whole thing, and the only reason is just to give you a better setup. So this one, again, is 60-34.5. This one is 60-40. So it's not much of a huge jump, except when you look at the top, the Eterna changed. So we are now able to get a max of 27, which again is just going to give us better enchantment levels. So that is the main reasons to go from here to here. You don't need any new supplies, just levels. That'll take some time, but if you build the XP farm, that's on my channel, it'll help you out a ton. So now for the best one, and again, this is early game. There are other ones like the Hell Shelf and all that stuff, but that's if you want to go to the Nether. This is something you can get early game, is the crystalline shelves. So we already kind of showed you a little bit about the crystalline, so I'm going to go back into it a little bit again just to kind of refresh. The crystalline sea shelf, you'll just break your infused. You'll add 3 prismarine crystals, and it turns into a crystalline. So again, I showed you where to get those. You just keep finding those. If you know better areas to get those, do that. But that was the easiest way for me. I just kept going to all those, breaking all the lanterns, swimming down, breaking all of them. And eventually you can create this beast of a enchantment setup. This is the one I currently use in my playthrough. I haven't got to the next level yet. So you actually have Quanta and Arcana. So again, now we have 100%, we're 30, we have 60% Arcana. This one is going to be the best one that you can get when it comes to early game and just enchanting with the best that you can get. And it's really not that hard to get to. Put this in here. Let's get one more trident. And again, sometimes the levels still aren't better, but this just gives us a better opportunity to get better stuff. So you get all this type of stuff. Anyways, and then the next part is with this setup, I'm going to break these two. Those are special things. As you can see, the setup stayed. So crystalline I break. Now we have 30, 158. And then I put this one back 160. So you're going to want to do this setup exactly with all the crystalline in every spot. And then what I would suggest making is a shelf of seabound rectification. So rectification. And this is what it looks like. It's an infused sea shelf. It's blocks of amethyst. It's honeycomb blocks. So I'll show you how to get all this. And it's going to make a seabound rectification. What rectification does is lowers the chances of the curses and things like that. So we'll come up here. You'll be able to see that rectification is actually kicking in. Let me type in. Let's just do a trident again, since that's like the theme of this video, it seems like. Do another trident. Put the trident up there. So now as you see on the Quanta, reduction potential is minus 90 now because there's 10% rectification. So now we have a higher chance to just get really good stuff and lower chances to get the bad stuff. So that's what rectification is for. You're not ever going to be able to get a whole bunch of it. There are really good ones. So if you come up here, you type rectification. This is pretty much your 4 that you can get. Again, these are like insanely like way down the line ones that you'll have to do. But I'm going to show you exactly how to like get the stuff to make this, because again, it's, you know, something you've never seen. So easy way to get honeycomb blocks is when you're playing through your world. I've talked to people, some people have never found these. I like to use boats a lot, so I like to go like in the water. And I've come across a few of these, which are called black markets. So I'm going to teleport here. There's a whole video. I'll make a whole video on like what this is exactly. Just skip all that. This is all you need to know. If you find any of these floating like looking villages, and again, they're kind of scattered across. Sometimes you'll come across them, sometimes you won't. But if you use a boat a lot, you'll be able to probably find quite a bit of them if you just travel across the water. In my playthrough, I found like 4, I think. Go underwater. There's the honeycomb blocks. It's holding up all of these. It's the easiest way I found to find the honeycomb blocks. So find the black market, honeycomb blocks, or if you just know how to make the honeycomb blocks, you can do it that way. But this is the easiest way that I found. They're already just kind of sitting here. You just go underwater, find them yourself. And then for the amethyst, there's some floating like villages, or not villages. There's like floating like houses up in the sky. Sometimes those houses will have amethyst on them. So if we come up here, just up our chunks here, probably going to lag a little bit. See if we can see one. Let's clear the weather. Let's go find one of those houses that's up in the sky and see if we can give ourselves some amethyst. So I'm just going to fly in one direction. They're pretty easy to spot. Then you just got to get up to it. But if not, you'll find amethyst in the caves. There's amethyst block, like caves where you can find it. So here it is. So we traveled, it's really not that far away. You'll find some of these floating little islands just out in the middle of wherever. You can see there's a ton of amethyst on the bottom of it. An easy way, most of the time you'll just be walking and you'll see these just floating above you. So you go to the black market, you find these little floating islands here. You'll be able to easily get everything you need to make the sea-bound rectification setup here. So with that, we'll teleport back to where we're kind of setting up everything. And that really is like the full explanation of like the best enchanting setup. This is the one, like I said, I'm currently using. Whenever you get to the nether, you're going to want to go into the hellbound, or the hell shelves, I mean. And it's almost the same exact process. It's going to be the hell shelf that you can infuse, and then it goes into the blazing hell shelf with blaze. But the only problem is when you get to that, as you can see, enchanting clues go down. We'll talk about that another time. And then it's the same thing. Glowing hell shelf is the best one that you can get to after you infuse it. But then there's the blazing one, which adds a bunch of stuff, but we'll get into this one. If you go to the nether, this is the one, of course, you want to go to. And then there's the best ones, as you can see, if you type in shelf. It's going to be your end ones, which is the level 40. I haven't got to the end yet, so whenever we get here, I'll be able to make videos. But this is the best early game setups for enchanting tables. If you want to easily get yourself kind of started with enchanting and things like that, this is definitely the best setup. How to do it, all that type of stuff. So that was the full guide on early enchantment setup. Anything else in Dawncraft, just leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.